We can start.
So, hello and good evening to everyone. I'm your host Dikshita, bringing to you all another webinar session with on animal welfare with Anazuri. Before I begin, I would like to introduce you all to our today's speaker. So, for today, we have Ms. Nafisa Akhtar with us. Ms. Nafisa Akhtar is a certified animal communicator, certified life coach, relationship coach, Reiki master, tarot card reader, and a metaphysical healer. So, for today's discussion, our topic is Understand Your Pets Better with Nafisa. So, now I'd like to request Ma'am Nafisa to share her views and experiences with us. So, Ma'am, you can start.
Namaskar, hello, and very good evening to each and one of you watching this. I am very happy to be here with you, and I thank Team Menagerie for inviting me in here. Uh,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so we are going to talk today about getting to know our pets better and about animal communication. So, before we dive in deeper into the topic, let's first understand what animal communication is and why it is required. So, firstly, animal communication is a tool to communicate to your animal in whatever form. I mean, maybe not spoken language, but visions, signs, uh, you know, uh, intuition, and all of those things, right? So that is how we connect to animals. Why we connect to animals? We connect to animals because it helps the animals and us, the pet owners, better to understand the animals. We can help sick animals. We can find lost animals and pets, and it also helps animals in need. It brings us a lot closer to nature in itself, and a lot of positive, it's a doorway, right? So a lot of positive things start happening in our lives itself, and I kid you not when I tell you that, because all the animal communicators I know, or anyone who, we actually naturally have that ability or gift to be able to communicate with any being, whether it is animals or plants, anything in nature. But because of the conditioning, the constant conditioning, that you literally need to have a spoken word, a spoken language to be able to communicate our feelings and thoughts and emotions to the other being. That is what blocks us. So that is the beginning. Yeah, so you can go on with the questions, Deepshita.
Ma'am, how did you start it? Like how to communicate with animals? You can tell us.
So it is a syllabus, right? So you have to learn animal telepathy. I teach animal telepathy. But for starters, you know, we have to start with silence first, being quieter, having more alone time, and sitting to yourself just in a quiet, silent space. That is the beginning of how it starts. Because if we are not quiet, we'll not get the messages, will not receive the messages. So we have to open ourselves, we have to be receptive to the messages that the animals or nature is trying to give us, right? So that is the first step. The second, I'm sorry,
No, you can continue.
yeah. So secondly, there are animal telepathy courses, animal communication courses. Different people teach that. I think in Northeast, I have not heard of anyone else, but otherwise, there are a lot of other animal communicators in other parts of the country and other parts of the world. And so, animal communication is, for me, it's something that I always knew I wanted to do. I did not know that there is such a course. When I felt like, I really want to communicate with animals. When that feeling started coming to me, there was no such course, or even if there was, I didn't know about it. And it took me many years. And when I told people about it the first time, or many times after that, after a very long time, I think 10-15 years I've been telling this, so people would laugh. I mean, how would you do that? Or people would just shrug the question off, I mean the topic off. I mean, this is just nonsense. So but there is a cause like that. And apart, you can talk to your animals, not just your animals, any animals you see on the streets, wild animals, insects, birds, any bee, right? So what it does to the animals, how it helps the animal, most of the time we do have pets in our homes, right? And sometimes, we can't understand certain behavioral aspects of the animal that they keep on doing. And even though we do have trainers, training is expensive. And at the same time, even after training, I've got a lot of cases where the animal is not picking up, right? Especially with the adopted animals, so why that happens? That happens because especially the adopted ones, they have been, they had, you must understand that they have had a different life. I mean, different environment to them before they came to you. So there must have been abuse, there must have been abandoning, all of those things, all of those experience that they have had, it affects their behavior. And once that is understood, so through an animal communicator, you can understand that why is this animal behaving like that, and the animal communicates. And me as a communicator, let's say you are the owner, you're the pet owner, so I give you that message that this is why the animal is behaving like that. The animal will also give you solutions to that, right? And there is no one solution to one problem. Different animals give you different solutions. It's very individualistic in that as matter, for that matter. So yeah, so that is one thing. Other thing is sick animals. I mean, with a lot of animals, they keep on falling sick again and again and again and again and again. And it's not just one ailment that they have, but repeatedly they seem to have a lower immunity, right? So again, there are energetic aspects to that. There are energetic aspects to why the animal is falling so sick again and again and again, and that the communicator can decipher, from the animal to the human. And even if the human wants to convey anything to the animal, that also can be done. So a little bit of training can also happen through, animal communication. It's not exactly training, it's just merging the gap, between the human and the animal. So that is another thing. Then, healing. So not all animal communicators practice healing on animals, but some of them do, like I do. Healing is very important because again, sometimes you take them to the vet. Even if you take them to the vet, they keep on showing repeated signs, right? So we have to understand that why this is happening. So in that matter, an animal communicator who is also a healer can, do both, can convey the message to the owner and convey the owner's message to the pet, and at the same time heal the animal if the animal requires healing. Yeah. Then we have the matter of adoption. So a lot of people say that, I've adopted my, I've adopted this dog and I've adopted this cat. We have to understand this thing. We do not adopt animals. Animals adopt us. Animals in nature are very high vibrational. So we all have a vibrational frequency. We know that, right? We all have frequencies. There is an electromagnetic field there, right? So in terms of vibrational frequency, animals have very high vibrational frequency compared to humans. And they are very spiritually evolved. So that's why they pick up on our issues, on the humans' issues, and they come to us. For me, even I have one that has adopted me. It's been 5 years. So I can completely say that, my dog has adopted me. He has changed my life. He has brought the family together closer. He has, healed us in many. He is also a shield to the family. He protects us. And it's amazing when, sometimes when, let's say, we don't speak to anyone, we don't want to talk to anyone, and we just want to sit quiet and nobody knows what is happening to us. But let's say we are a little upset, a lot more upset maybe. That's why we are not willing to, communicate. The animal will understand. The animal will pick that up. And it will, immediately try to come to you and try to make you, feel lighter, make you laugh maybe a little bit. And also petting the animal does a healing on the human by itself. So the point is that the animal adopts us. We don't adopt an animal.
So my second question is why it is important to like understand our pets?
Why is it important to understand our pets? So that the pet owners would tell you. As a pet owner, I think it's very important because see, you and I, we are talking. You can ask me this question. What if the animal has a question? I don't even know. I won't know for years. And what if the animal wants to warn us? Maybe warn me. He wants to warn me that, there is something coming because they can see the present, they can see the past, they can see the future. So maybe he wants to warn me, regarding something. How do I know? Yeah. And it is also important, Deepshika, to be able to communicate with animals because the more it brings us closer to nature, the more happier, livelier, yeah, the more connected we are going to be to our entire environment. And that is a doorway to happiness, isn't it? That is
Yes.
a doorway to joy. That is a doorway to, all things beautiful. So why not? When we are born, in a year or two, we start, children start talking, right? We never ask that, why do you have to talk? Do you ask that question to humans? Then why not communicate with animals?
Yeah.
And they'll always give you a higher perspective, a more deeper understanding. And they always come to our lives with a purpose of not them achieving something from us, but them giving something to us. A big lesson, maybe support, protection, a, a very important message in your life. They may also bring uh, like-minded people into your life.
Like how?
They have their way. Like they can't speak your language or our language, right? So they have their ways. I told you they're very spiritually evolved. So they're
Yeah.
always connected. They're always connected. Yeah.
Okay.
So we may shut our hearts and we function more from the brain. The animals don't do that. They keep they keep their energies open. They keep their energies receptive. So through them we get it because day-to-day things, mundane things, office work, 9 to 5 job, whatever. We don't have time to sit to ourselves and, even if we know, still, try to gain that perspective that, what do I need to know today? What did I do? What perspective do I get from what happened today in my, mundane activities, that the conversation I had with that particular person? What did I learn from it? All those things, we don't have that kind of a conversation with ourselves, do we? So they bring a lot of self-realization and self-introspection to us, if we are open to that.
Mm.
If we are open to that. If we are shut, we'll obviously not understand.
So any problems or anything that you faced while you were learning about animal communication?
So I have been practicing animal communication for 6 years now as a healer. I was giving healings to animals from past 6 years. And when you learn to give healings, you automatically open that uh, portal of animal communication. But then we do need a certification to, professionally go about, uh, as a professional animal communicator, to work somewhere or to work with people. So that is very recent for me. But I have been, so problems, yeah, so there are no problems, only, the problems are always with the human. The problems are, I'm not, you know, uh, saying that humans are bad or something like that. It's just that our lifestyle has become such that, we don't get the time, we don't get the, uh, we don't even have the energy and, to do things which are subtler in nature, subtler in energy, soft skills, like we say, right? So those things, so every time an animal would be sick, and if a communicator goes and talks to the animal, then most of the time the animal would say that, he has picked that up from the humans in the household. Okay, so that can be, it's not the physical ailment that the animal might have picked up. The animal might have picked up their energetic stuff as well. Like, there's a lot of fight, let's say, in the house. So the animal will show the pet owner that energy as an ailment. Yeah. That's why I say, if we are open, we can listen to it. If we are not open, then we'll keep on taking the animals to the vet. Yes. But, it will keep on coming back because the problem is not in the animal.
So how exactly you do this, like communicating with the animals?
How exactly I do this? Again, it is a course. If anyone wants to learn, of course, they can come to me. I teach people how to, communicate with animals and even to heal them. So it's a process. It's not a 1 day thing. I did not learn it in 1 day. So I cannot, like, tell you the entire process in this interview itself. But just being open and receptive, yeah, just believing in yourself, because in the beginning there'll be a lot of self doubt that will come to you. You will not believe what the messages that you're getting. Yeah, your energetic system may be blocked off, your third eye may be blocked, your gut may be blocked, because for so many years you didn't listen to your own instincts. Now that you want to do it, it is, jammed. You know how water pipes are jammed,
Yes.
right? And it is not very difficult to open any of such, I mean, blocks or jams or whatever we may call it. It's not very difficult to do it. Only an intent, an open heart, an open and receptive heart, and a little bit of practice, of course.
So why exactly you started communicating with animals? Something that you really liked, or
So I always knew how to communicate with animals. It's a gift, I think, since I was very little. I was a very loner child, so I would play in nature, uh, in the backyards of my grandfather's place. So, I would play alone in nature, and all the animals that would come, dog, cat, even chickens and whatever little animals I find, I just make do the communication stuff. I just make believe and the communication stuff. I didn't know then that I was really communicating to them. Right. So as I grew up gradually, and I started to learn other modalities of healing, I started to work on my spiritual growth and everything. It became more and more and more obvious to me that it is one of my purposes. And there's also a selfish reason that they make me very happy. They make me very happy. Even communicating to an animal while I am not present with the animal, because we can also communicate with an animal from a distance, right? So even communicating with an animal, animal that I don't know of before, communicating with the animal, they make me extremely happy. They have this, very flowy, happy-go-lucky kind of a nature. Yeah. So whenever I try to communicate with any animal, the answer would be, "Hey, hello, Nafisa, how are you?" Like that, like a very old friend.
seems like you really enjoy what you're doing?
I really enjoy it. And they're very bubbly in nature. Yeah, they're not complicated. Animals don't lie, right? Animals don't lie. Animals don't manipulate. So, I just love being around animals and nature in general, not just animals. I love my plants as well. And I told you I love being in nature. So anything in nature just, you know, triggers my inquisitiveness, just makes me curious. Maybe that's why.
You wanna share anything specific from your journey or your experience?
One thing that I didn't speak of as of now. So through animal communication, we also communicate with passed away animals, because sometimes, especially the domestic animals who live with humans, those are the most catastrophic moments for me have been, because the kind of communication, because the human needs closure, right? And believe me or not, humans are more attached to their animals than to any other human in their life. I have known people who are not over their animals for 6, 7 to 10 years. They would never, some of them are like, I'll never get another one. Nobody can be like my ex. That ex animal, right? So those are very catastrophic moments of connecting and giving closure to people. You feel uh, really humbled by those experiences. When people confide in you and they tell what was the connection and how was the connection, they come and tell me. And then when, I listen to them and I bring the communication from the animal back to the human, and the joy, sometimes people are in tears, they cry. Sometimes they can move on. They can literally move on, and they think about being adopted by another animal, or getting another animal to their household. So that is the most beautiful part, I think, that I enjoy more than anything.
Yeah, like it seems like you really enjoy your job and the thing that you're doing. Like, it's really interesting, I guess.
Yeah, isn't it how it is supposed to be though?
How it is supposed to be.
I mean, it is, I think this is the way everyone should feel about their work. Everyone should feel happy about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
happiness is the end goal after all.
if anything that you want to say to our viewers?
Uh, I think everyone should try this once if they have pets at home. Animal communication. It will open doors to them. If they want to learn, they should learn. If they want to, just get a communication done, the kind of connect, bonding, and catharsis that will happen is beyond explanation, right? So it is something that everyone should try, whoever is attached to animal. And yeah, that's it.
So we are end of our session because it's of only half an hour. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving your precious time to us. I think
Thank you so much, Deepshika. And again, once again, I thank the entire team of Enagery. Congratulations on doing the kind of work you do for nature, for the environment, for animals, for the community. It's commendable. I have always been a fan of yours, the entire team of Enagery, and I'll always be with you guys. Thank you so much.
thank you, ma'am.